sisters. Indeed, I'm very happy once more in Los Angeles. I'm very happy and having sort of share with people, and particularly here, I think the youth. So I'm very happy. So thank the organizer which created this opportunity. Then also I think thank to myself, particularly my body. The last 2-3 days there's some problem. Firstly, throat problem. Then with hope, there's some Tibetan medicine is to reduce that problem. But that Tibetan medicine I took overdosage. So creates more problem. So that's my own creation. Then last night about 10 hours sleep. So now today very fit. So I must thank to my own body. So he brought this for the head.
And I'm a Stanford guy.
So in like this sort of hole, very strong light, then sometimes this hat quite useful. So wherever I go, I always should talk about the human value, because I believe that's the basis of sort of mental sort of peace, and also I think through that way the happy life in day-to-day life, no matter what the situation, what the circumstances, if your mental state calm, then of course we can tackle these problems on the level of intelligence level.
With understanding.
Will not much disturb your sort of deeper level of mind, because you see your emotion, your basic sort of state of mind calm. So therefore, whether believer or non-believer, the mental value is something very important to experience in day-to-day life, including sleep or dream, like that. So about I think 2 days ago, because of the overdosage of that medicine, I got this, I think 3-4 times little faint.
Fainting.
So no longer consciousness function properly. So anyway, so therefore, the peace of mind is something very, very essential. Immense benefit to individual, the mental state, or happiness, or calm mind, and also through that way, immense benefit to health also. I'm quite sure if my mental state, a little sort of difficult state, then I'm quite sure you will not get 10 hours sound sleep, I think. So actually, through my own experience, very important, very sort of beneficial, very helpful. Then say, at age 16, I lost my freedom, which everybody here, fully enjoy, individual freedom, freedom of the community or freedom of the nation. That lost. Then age 24, I lost my own country. And many my dear sort of friends, including one little dog, I left like that. And then, now last more than 50 years, of course, news from Tibet, occasionally some positive news, but basically always very sad. But my mental state always remained calm. So because of my own experience, and then also you see, I met a number of people. Many cases, their complaint is actually very small, but too much complaint. So then I learned, due to lack of inner strength, even small problem create a lot of worry, a lot of helplessness, like that. So therefore, whenever I go, whenever I have the opportunity of meeting with people, firstly, I talk in order to be happy human being, happy family. The money important, name also important, power also important, and a strong body also important. But ultimately, much depends on our own inner, I usually call inner sort of self-confidence, inner strength. Anger never bring inner strength. For temporary, some kind of special energy, special sort of pride or boldness. But that actually blind. So therefore, number one, my commitment, promotion of these inner value. Then second, so the first sort of point or first commitment is I carry that sort of commitment on the level of just one human being. Here, I think few thousand people, we all same human being. Mentally, emotionally, physically, we are same. And then more important, everyone want a happy life, do not want suffering, do not want problem. And everybody have the same right to be happy person. So on that level, on that conviction, I always talk about the promotion of these values. And then second level, as a Buddhist. So the harmony among the different religious traditions, very possible and very necessary. Particularly when I notice, you see, the community follow of same religion, like Christian or like Islam, but some conflict due to different sort of little differences. And then in human history, even some sort of conflict is in the name of religion. So therefore, there is a real possibility if we look holistically or objectively, we can see all major religious traditions. It's a different philosophy. That's necessary. But the main message is same. Practice of compassion, love, with that, forgiveness, tolerance, contentment, self-discipline. All religions, all major religious traditions, same. So therefore, it is absolutely wrong. Use different philosophy, different view, different tradition, and start conflict. If you look, the real purpose of these sort of different traditions, same, to build these human values: compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, self-discipline, and contentment. So all different religious traditions, they carry same message and same effect. So therefore, if you look more holistically, we need different religious traditions, because among humanity there are so many variety of mental dispositions. So we need variety of different religious traditions. If you look holistic, realistic, like that. Then on the other hand, all carry sort of same sort of message and same sort of potential. So my number 2 commitment is promotion of these different sort of harmony with different religious traditions. So now today, Kosa,
Secular ethics and human values.
Keynote lecture by His Holiness on secular ethics, human values. So, briefly, already I mentioned. First, our aim: happy world. Happy world means happy community. Happy world based on happy community. Happy community based on happy family. Happy family depend on happy individual. So without individual sort of effort, happy world will not come. Of course, I am Buddhist. In my daily life, about fast, prayer, meditation. But regarding happy world, I don't think through prayer achieve that goal. Prayer certainly, you see, bring benefit to individual, but world, I don't believe. So therefore, ultimately, in order to build happy world, first we must look at individual. Individual should be sensible person, becoming more happier one, and then family, community, then national level, eventually global level. So then the purpose, the road or method. Firstly, happy human being, not necessarily religious sort of concept. Religion certainly helping to create happy life, including prayer, some meditation, so on. But main purpose is to bring more happier, more sensible human being. So now here, if we touch religion in order to achieve happy life, happy world, then I think difficult. Firstly, there are large number of essentially non-believer. So we must find out whether there is ways and means to achieve individual happiness without touching religion. That is possible. If you have religion, good. Provided you utilize religion seriously, properly, then good. But basically, this happy life is not sort of related with religious concept. So itself secular. Our aim is secular. So method should be secular way, without touching religion. I must say, in the West, some my friend, some Christian, some Muslim, you see, they believe, according to their view, secularism is something negative towards religion, or disrespect towards religion. But according to Indian,
Dean.
Dean
Varun is Indian.
from India. He told me from Punjabi. Punjabi without turbans array. So he knows, according to India, secularism, not at all negative towards religion. Oh, sorry. Thermal marbe. Thermal. Oh, hello. So, according to Indian sort of concept, secularism is actually respect all religions. No preference, this religion or that religion. And then also, according some my Indian friend, in fact, former Deputy Prime Minister of India, great friend of mine. So once he told me, according to Indian sort of secularism, even you should respect non-believer. Last sort of more than 2,000
Yes.
or 2,000 years. You see, there's tradition among different sort of philosopher. One section of philosopher, they deny the existence of next life. Actually, existence of continuation of law of causality. Everything. Many cases, just certainly happen. You mean
This is a particular school in ancient India that was a materialist school that rejects the notion of karma and rebirth.
So do not accept law of causality. Beside, of course, the other religious sort of thing. Simply, I think, radical materialistic, view. So he told me there are a lot of sort of argument or criticism about that view. But at the same time, refer people who holding that view, refer Rishi. Rishi means sage. So that's clear sign. The secularism respect non-believer. So last 1,000 years, it's that kind of tradition. So secularism, the 1,000 years, sort of ancient time, respect a non-believer. Now today also, you see, secularism means respect non-believer too. As a human being, same right, same potential. No basis, no reason of discrimination. Clear. So I want to make clear, when I use the secularism or secular ethics, does not mean disrespect religion. Of course, you can see me. I'm Buddhist. I respect religion. But I talk always about secularism. So, now secular ethics. I think the definition of ethic, of course, my English, the vocabulary very limited, and also the understanding about the exact meaning also very limited. I don't know. So according to my own dictionary, value means
Ethics.
something
Ethics.
useful or something helpful for our existence. Then, since we have not only this physical, but also we have this mind. And physical not only just exists or survival, but also healthy physical. Similarly, our mind also not only concerned for existence, survival, but also, you see, healthy way, healthy body, healthy mind. So now mind is something mere shape.
So mind is, we're talking about a phenomena which involves a kind of a subjective experience of knowing.
Of course, mind, emotion with brain or neuron, they are relation. But the mental level, mind or world, world of mind, there are so many different levels of mind. According to Indian psychology, grosser level of mind and emotion, more subtle level of emotion or mind. Obviously, mind are they entirely based on sensorial organs. That's a very grosser level of mind. Then more deeper, like dream state. The grosser level of organs no longer function. So consciousness based on these no longer function. But some cases, dream body, some special sort of dream body. That's sometimes, I think ordinary people also occasionally, some get the experience. But usually dream is just like the knowledge.
Just perceptions, yeah.
Oh, perceptions?
Not really. Experiences, no.
Experiences. Oh. So at that level, 아주 안들이 아주 취지식의 숙시에 있는 산에 밀림기 숙자 제로제들이 취지식의 숙시하다.
For example, in classical Buddhist psychology, there are
I
discussions
think
of the
not necessarily Buddhist psychology. I think
Classical Indian.
ancient Indian psychology.
classical Indian psychology. There are discussions of the subtle forms that are contents of our dream states, and they are referred to as mental objects.
취지식의 숙나.
And 5 different kinds of mental objects are identified.
So that's another level. Then very deep state, without sleep, another level of consciousness. Here consciousness means the mind. So unconscious level, also mind, like that. Then faint, which just a few days ago I experienced. So like that. So then further, the brain function cease. Then subtle, very, very subtle level of consciousness of mind experience. So from our viewpoint, some people say after death, clinically, brain functions stop. Clinically dead. But still, the body remains very fresh. Number of cases in India. And I think the people, not much pay attention. Otherwise, I think this happened, every part of the world, clinically dead. No possibility to return. But physical remain very fresh. Next 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like that. So the scientifically, no explanation up to now. Some scientists now find out how it happened.
Doing research now.
Doing some research. I think coming October, so we are going to have some meeting or discussion like that. So our viewpoint, the subtler level of consciousness, still of consciousness or mind, still within the body, in certain area. That also is not much. That also subject to discuss like that. So mind basically simply mere illuminicity.
Experience, subjective experience.
No form, no color, no shape, cannot touch, only feeling. But the grosser level of mind must be based on physical part,
organ
or particles. And then more subtle level based on subtle energy. Consciousness and energy always go together. So that energy,
so that energy that always accompany mental processes within the kind of taxonomy of reality, it's part of matter, not of mind.
So there are also, many levels.
Subtlety.
Like that. So now, in order to achieve happy life, we, sentient being, unlike plant, not only take care of the physical, but we have to take care about mind. Obviously, physical level, very fit. Doctor check, oh, no problem. But the person still feel unhappy. It's possible. So I think up to now, only medicine is a tranquilizer. Tranquilizer. If too much sort of mental state, some concern, some sort of too much stress, then tranquilizer, or alcohol, or just to go picnic, forget about these worry
problems,
and then see. Almost then I think we experience like animal animal level, just seeing, taste, smell, not using human intelligence. That's not great. I think the great thing is, logical thing is, maintain all our sophisticated mind or intelligence. Meantime, be peace. Otherwise, education is useless. Education provides us all the potential of our mind. properly sort of
Utilize.
So I think as far as sort of the eye consciousness, ear consciousness, I think some of the animals sort of eye consciousness, ear consciousness is much stronger than human being. And smell also, like elephant, when they look like that, miles or something miles away, they can feel. And I think rabbit, that big ear,
Ears.
I think much stronger than our human sort of
Ears.
human ears. Because you see, their life, their survival depend on this grosser level of consciousness. So nature provided that way. But we have this special brain, the brain intelligence part, much bigger. The elephant, the other part of the brain, which consciousness, the
Visual, the sensory experience.
sensory experience is very strong, very big, but the real
Thinking part.
thinking part is small. So therefore, it is wise, worthwhile to utilize our sort of unique
Quality.
quality in order to bring more calm mind. So now here, the main element is warm-heartedness. Because now I think in mind there are two categories. One, shirukchari.
One tends to be more in the direction of cognitively oriented, belonging to the category of intelligence.
All education, that part. Then real feeling related with Dumberik.
So the emotions and more affective aspects of our mind tends to be more connected with our motivation, things that motivate us, and intention and wish.
So basically, two different categories. So modern education, it seems to me, only pay attention about that awareness side.
Intelligence side.
Intelligence side. A little bit neglect about the other side. Then religious tradition. I think particularly the most sort of religions, including theistic religion, mainly Dumberik thoughts there.
Emphasize the development of this other side.
I think according to Indian sort of tradition, some combination. I think present Pope also emphasizes faith and reason must go together. So that is also.
So a connection is being made, emphasizing the need to develop both of the aspects of our mind.
So intelligence alone sometimes create more vision, more desire, more ambition. And that also sometimes, through that way, all intelligence also bring more fear, more suspicion, more distrust. Then on the other hand, the Dumberik
the aspect of the mind that is more on the motivation and the aspiration side.
Now, like I think too much stress, fear, this is related with Dumberik.
This other side.
Other side. So more warm-heartedness, open heart, no room fear, jealousy, distrust. After all, we are social animal. In order to live happy human being, happy society, happy family, highly necessary. Now for that, open heart. Create happy family. Suspicion. Even same family member, little sort of jealousy, little sort of distrust, then that brings fear. That brings loneliness. Intelligent sight will not help much. However, these emotional sort of experience can be
However, if we look at the more emotional aspect of our mind, we can see that by using with the help of our intelligence, we can actually help cultivate them and strengthen them.
Now, for example, two persons, same sort of tragedy. One have the experience to utilize intelligence, one not much. Then, same amount of suffering. But the one who utilize human intelligence properly
can in fact use that tragic situation into a kind of an opportunity.
So these intelligence can do that. So animal level, there's certain limited sort of altruism, particularly those social animals, that brings together. But they have no sort of greater intelligence. Limited intelligence, maybe they are, but very limited. Therefore, they cannot sort of expand these good quality. We human beings, because of this intelligence, human values, human affection, human compassion can
be expanded, can be developed.
Usually I describe compassion. There are two levels. One level of compassion is purely biological factor. That's common with the other animals. Then another level of human compassion with help of human intelligence. That compassion further sort of strengthened. So another level of compassion. So biological factor of compassion is biased, mainly oriented towards others' attitude. With help of human intelligence, long-term sort of benefit. With help of intelligence, which is understanding the long-term, short-term sort of interest, benefit. With help of that, human compassion. The second level, not oriented about others' attitude, but rather the person or the sentient being themselves. Like our own sort of self-cherishing, not due to self is something nice to self itself. No. Self simply want happy life, do not want suffering, and have the right. On that basis, we develop desire to overcome problem, to achieve happy life. So that reason, 100% same to all other people, including your troublemaker, including your enemy. Same human being. In a human case, same human being. Or another case, or wider case, all sentient being. Same experience, same desire, same right. So on that way, develop genuine sense of concern. So that kind of sense of concern not oriented others' attitude, but themselves. So that's the differences. So on that level, we can extend our love and compassion towards our enemy, even stronger than towards our friend, like that. So through training, through reasoning, the cherished feeling towards oneself, towards other, 让类先进这样用途的。
So through the application of our human intelligence, we can in fact extend the sense of caring not just to oneself, but to others as well.
So that's certainly, I think now, perhaps fulfilled this topic where
Yeah, secular ethics. Secular ethics.
secular ethics, human value. I think fulfilled. Now questions.
So, Your Holiness, we're going to have a few questions that have been submitted by many of the people in the audience and from the internet. And the first question is, you emphasize, as you were saying, compassion as the basis of ethics.
Yes.
But isn't it the case that in some situations, ensuring justice is more important than being compassionate to the perpetrator of a crime? As we've seen in the news recently with the death of Osama bin Laden, where is the issue justice in the context of someone who has perpetrated a horrible crime? And as we've seen, people have been celebrating his death. Where does compassion fit in with that and ethics?
Now here, we must make distinction, actor and action. Now, Bin Laden case, his action, of course, destructive. Of course, there was a September 11 event. A few thousand people killed, almost instantly. Really terrible. So his action must bring into justice. But actor, as a human being, as a human brother, you see, we must keep compassion, a sense of concern of his well-being. So, towards action, destructive action, so we must take appropriate action to stop that. Even long-term benefit to that perpetrator, you have to take. But without a negative feeling, rather a sense of concern, of well-being of that person. So then, actually, that countermeasure, no matter what sort of appearance, what appearances,
What form it takes.
it's actually compassionate action. So that's the way. Now here, actually, the basis of the practice of forgiveness means forgiveness does not mean forget what happened. No. Remember what they done, and accordingly, what sort of appropriate action you have to take. But because of that action, you keep ill feeling towards that person. That was wrong. So, mentally, you see, they done, forgive. But as far as the action is concerned, if something serious and necessary to take countermeasure, then you have to take countermeasure. Like that.
There are many who believe that religion forms the basis or is the best source of ethics. Yet sometimes these will conflict with civil law. Which should take precedence, and how does one decide?
civil law da motimyo
Lare, the Chita Mambuchi, Langtor Shishas at the Chulu, so you might catch your tigdos. In the Chulu Tawadam, Kapkashelia, civil law, Matumbo Yombena, and Karakache Tigres.
I think that depends on the person. A person sort of a serious believer, then I think religious point is more important. And then the person doesn't care about religion, then I think the Chita law will catch it.
Then civil law becomes more important.
So, in a society where multi-religion, even multi-culture, I think India's sort of tradition is, I think, best. Secular religion is individual business. For the society, combination of a variety of people, so secular. I always consider India is the sort of example or model. Recently, I was in Jodhpur. When I leaving my room, because
Lobby.
lobby, when I passing through lobby, one European person approaching to me, and I asked, "You come from where you come?" He told me Romanian. He carries some research about India's religious harmony. So then he told me, in Jaipur, Jodhpur is located in Rajasthan. Many Muslims there. So he told me he found a village, Muslim village, only 3 Hindu family, but no fear, no uncomfortable. The whole Muslim village, 3 Hindu family live as if a genuine friend. So he's surprised, he told me like that. So that kind of situation, overall India like that. In Kerala, I have been in different sort of state. Christian community, Christian family, Hindu family, Muslim family, and some cases Jains, go like that. I think firstly, India is a democratic country and rule of law, and although a lot of corruption is also there. Sometimes law itself corrupted. That's what to do. I mean, not necessarily law corrupted, but lawyer corrupted. So, in spite of that, still, I think society as a whole, I think very healthy because of India's constitution, secular basis. So give equal to every believer or non-believer like that. So I think then of course these are up to consider people, not I'm not so judgment.
I'm not the one who is going to arbitrate and say this is the right way.
This is up to individual nations, individual countries sort of law like that. I don't know. At least I'm now last 52 years, my residence in India. So very safe. Yes, next question.
There are different feelings regarding suffering in various religions.
지도 그
Now here I think maybe some connection here. One time in Argentina, we have some meeting with religious leader and also some scientists. And at that meeting, the one, I think, the Chilean scientist, I was told who is or was, I don't know now, one of the teacher of late Varela.
Francisco Varela. Francisco Varela.
Francisco Varela's teacher. So at that meeting, he mentioned he is a scientist and a physicist. And then he mentioned, I should not develop attachment towards my own scientific field. I thought, that's great. Then immediately I felt, I am Buddhist, but I should not develop attachment towards Buddhism. It is quite clear. Once you develop attachment, then your attitude becomes biased. Then you can't see the reality. So therefore, religious practitioner should be very sincere, even should be very sincere practitioner, very faithful, but should not develop attachment. I think that's important.
I work in a large corporation and have seen unethical behaviors that have had very negative impacts. If I report them, I'm afraid I may lose my job, and I am the sole supporter of my family. What responsibility do I have to my family and to the larger society as a whole?
This is clearly a sign of corruption. Sad. Recently, I was in Bombay. One businessman, he actually told me, there is society, so much sort of corrupted sort of cases. So if you really sort of practice or follow genuine sort of honestly, you can't survive. That kind of sort of impression. And also one student, I think that also Jodhpur, one student asked me, as a one individual, unless you also, you see, do corrupted thing, otherwise you can't survive.
Succeed.
You can't succeed. I really, you see, shocked. But still, then both cases I responded, no, still, human being, major portion are truly sort of compassionate and not involve corruption. Few individuals, some minority, more effective, they are corrupted. But in any case, we have to fight to make correction about these things. If you yourself, you see, because of hopelessness, you join with the group of the corrupted people, then how can improve our world? If this goes continuously without check, who suffer most? Innocent people, poor people. So we have to do something. We have to shout. We have to make a voice. And there is possibility to change. I think we stand firm. I think ordinary people, I think will support you. Will support you. It may hurt some individual, but that doesn't matter. And that also not out of hatred or out of anger, but out of love. These corrupt people, they always carry hypocritical way, because they also want their good name. They very much concerned about their good name because they want happy, because they want more trust, more respect from others. They know what is they're doing is wrong. So it is better. So,
in any case, it's far better even for these individuals to be able to live more authentically rather than having to live in hypocrisy all the time.
Oh, transparent, truthful, honest, nothing to hide. And you feel very happy, much happier. I think those individual family whose sort of economic condition may be a little sort of poor, but within the family, full trust, full love, full affection, and also your few neighbors as well, then that kind of people, I think, are much, much happier than those family who have luxurious life. And I always teasing, even you see the billionaire, the size of stomach is same. And even you want some high-priced rings, only 10 finger. If rich family, 100 finger, then okay. 100 rings. You can show other people. Oh. The more bigger size of stomach, then you can consume more. But not like that. So too much luxurious sort of lifestyle is actually illusion. Satisfaction came out of illusion, not realistically. So therefore, I think all this, I think awareness, holistic awareness, and long-term sort of interest, these can change. I think the education system, you involve, professor involved. Now here also, I think our education system only talks about material value, not talking about these inner ethics things. So people who come from that kind of sort of education system and that kind of society, we can't blame. So we must pay more attention about how to build healthy human society through education, not through religion, but through education. That's very important.
This next question is actually quite germane to that comment. This is from someone out there. I am soon to finish college and wish my life to be of service and value. At the same time, many of the opportunities are at corporations that don't share my ethics or values. While I think it would be great to work at a nonprofit or in service of others, necessity is such that I must make money to pay rent and pay back student loans. Do you have any advice?
Labda tendo yes ene kurang lega chesa zega ndrobe ne lega chesa manga chena corporation digite kurang jik sangjo zite kechu tona shita medin nyanya reshas and jik non profit at the tola non profit and shabji shuege dimba yote en kurang labda pulen da en susu choge go de lega chane ya lamsan chetu marwas tis da telia ne kundu kalop karna yanas.
I think I will recite one Buddha's sort of message or teaching. You are your own master. I think you should judge, and with wider perspective, long-term interest, and genuine sense of concern of honest, truthful. That have to judge. If I say something, and then afterwards, if you find some difficulties, then you will going to blame on me.
There are many whose suffering is a direct result of their own actions. Do we have an ethical responsibility to those individuals?
미망부지 동행용에 수수수시 동행 양대요레스 엔틴주용올이야 아주 구두 동행세게 랭게르지 어려요 말레스 다지 랑도면 되베나 크란주 때 제베 동행들이
Now here answer, I think different answers according different philosophical view. According theistic religious viewpoint, that all these ultimately God create. Then according non-theistic religion, law of causality. And within the law of causality, non-theistic religion, and also differences. You see some like Buddhism and Jainism, and also some Hinduism, you see believe their life after life. So some of the experiences which we experience in this lifetime, the cause not necessarily create within this life itself, but due to some other sort of lives, former lives. So that's very, very complicated. Then I think to non-believer, I think firstly, as I mentioned earlier, you must pay more attention about our inner value and try to develop more awareness about mental sort of function. Through that way, certainly you will increase ability to face challenges. Of course, physical challenge, different matter. If mad dog come, you have to run away like that. But mental level sort of challenge, awareness, really makes differences. As already I mentioned before. Then,
there's the make us genda to Mambuji Kapkashelia, that Dungayanya, the Kuranda Cheshebe, to Bunyande.
So the best sort of advice or best suggestion is 8th century's one Indian Buddhist master, Buddhist scholar, mentioned
this is 8th century Indian Buddhist master who made the following advice that in response to a problem that you are facing, he says that if there is a solution, then there is no need to be overwhelmed by the worry. You should seek the solution. And if there is no solution, then there is no point in being overwhelmed by it.
I think that is a very realistic approach. Very realistic. When you face some problem, some tragedy, there is no way to overcome, then too much sort of sad, too much anger, too much frustration is useless. Instead of that, firm determination. Just one day ago I was in Japan. Originally, not my visit, whether through Atlantic or through Japan, not finalized. But then, because of the tragedy in Japan, in northeast Japan, so firstly, Japan, Buddhist country, basically, but many Japanese are not much serious about Buddhism, but basically, Buddhist country. Then secondly, I have number of Japanese friends. So therefore, when they got they said, "Tuktu tusi said, tuktu tusi, sayung tukchi chumbe kala, tsunami chikchum, they kala atomic powerhouse they know to check. Tuktu tusi said."
There's a Tibetan phrase which is what it really applies to what happened in Japan, and the phrase is sort of a piling of tragedy upon tragedy. So what we witness in Japan is, in addition to this outrageous earthquake, we also saw tsunami, which was then led to the atomic accident. So we saw so many tragedies piling up on one on other.
So, as a friend of Japanese people, or many Japanese, so it is my duty to show my face and express condolence. And so I visited there. So I express, and in one time in, I think, California, I think, about Haiti earthquake. I also used to sort of express at that time also. Now tragedy already happened. Now too much worry, no help. So instead of that, with self-confidence, look forward and work hard to rebuild their family and their community. So I express to my Japanese sort of friend, now gone. As a Buddhist sort of, from Buddhist viewpoint, it is due to our own karma. So in any way, it already happened. Now Japanese people passing through many difficult periods, particularly after Second World War, like German people. Immense destruction. These two nations rebuilt from the ashes, but with self-confidence and work hard. So they built. So the people have that kind of quality. So important is self-confidence, and instead of sorrow, right? Too much worry, too much hopelessness. Work hard, can build. I told them. So like that, now unhealthy sort of situation, difficult situation, so instead of worry, think, I'm a human being. I'm among the over 6 billion human beings. I'm one of them. We are a social animal. If rest of the world survive, rest of the world go forward, why not? I can do. I think that kind of
Spirit. That kind of
self-confidence and spirit is very, very important.
Your Holiness, you must have been delaying things for this last question, which comes as, you were the Dalai Lama, yet you are also human. Have you ever acted unethically? But we're out of time, so we're not going to have that question.
Or maybe I often is telling people my relation with mosquito, not ethical basis. Particularly when you see very sound sleep, and then also the area, some danger of malaria, then you see sometimes first the visitor, okay, like that, and the second visitor, third visitor, then have to act more aggressively, like that. And also when my mood good, and no danger of malaria, and then some visitors come, then I just give blood and watch. And here also I have is one question after that experience. You see, the mosquito, small mosquito, is to suck my blood and his or her body. I think most probably I know her body. So, as far as mosquito is concerned, female is more aggressive than male.
On that note,
no, wait. So therefore, after they suck blood and their whole body becomes red, then fly. No sign of appreciation. So I asked, you see, so from that I developed some sort of curiosity. One time in Oxford University, my talk, and in front of the seat, some Oxford professors, very dignified professors. So I asked them, anyone have some idea which level of brain size have the ability showing appreciation? No answer. I think dogs, cats, usually, if we pay genuine sort of affection, they also appreciate, isn't it? So, what level of brain size, that ability, that I really, I wonder. Correct. So, so therefore, you see, first visitor, very gently, I give blood. Then second, come. Not that much patience now. Then third, fourth, come.
Thank you, Your Holiness. Unfortunately, we are out of time. I would just like to close with perhaps 3 quotes in regard to ethics, which I think are very germane and put us or give us some perspective. One is, live so that when your children think of fairness and integrity, they think of you. Another quote by Abraham Lincoln actually is, when I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That is my religion. And lastly, from His Holiness, my religion is kindness. Thank you so much. It's wonderful for you to be with us today. And thank you, Your Holiness. Jinpa.
Labdag Dean Delia teach
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Varun, perhaps you can. I am doubly blessed.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Jinpa. Oh, I think we're...
Okay.
Jinpa.
Thank you. Thank you much.
Thank you.
So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, I think you should consider we all have same potential. Therefore, say some individual utilize that potential, result becoming more healthier mind, more healthier body. So you also have the same potential. Please pay more attention. Pay more attention about these inner value. While you are making money, while you are spending whole, I think, almost 24 hours running for making money. But besides that, pay little attention about our inner value so that you can be more happier. Thank you.